Hi everyone, Petra with Petras Perspectives here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a board certified coach and a California licensed marriage and family therapist. And today I would like to talk with you about feeling overwhelmed. So let me ask you, are you feeling overwhelmed? I easily feel overwhelmed and I really have to practice good skills to manage it. Now, I don't feel overwhelmed all of the time, but I definitely feel overwhelmed more often than I wish. So, first and foremost, what I want you to know is that you are normal. I am normal. Feeling overwhelmed doesn't feel good, and there are definitely some strategies that you can use to help yourself. But I also really want you to keep an eye on it, because prolonged feelings of feeling overwhelmed can lead to mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. So it really is something that you want to take some proactive measures for. In the short run, being overwhelmed can be managed, but in the long run, it really can turn into a problem. So why do I say that feeling overwhelmed is normal? Namely, because our human selves did not evolve to deal with this constant level of stimuli we have to deal with. For example, right now, as I'm making this video on a national and global scale, we are dealing with a pandemic. We're dealing with global warming. We're dealing with severe drought in the western United States and political strife. And then add to that our jobs, possible problems in relationships, for many not knowing how they're going to get ahead financially. And then on a lesser scale, the loads of laundry waiting to be done, meal planning, trying to be healthy, and a house that just doesn't seem to want to stay clean. Right? I mean, just listing this stuff makes me feel overwhelmed. And most of these things don't seem to have easy long-term solutions. Even the easy stuff, laundry, house cleaning, the meal planning to-dos, never permanently get taken off our to-do lists. So trying to manage the stuff that makes us feel overwhelmed, to make the feeling go away, just really isn't a practical answer. A better strategy is to psychologically and emotionally manage how we approach the feeling of being overwhelmed. So, what can we do? Well, as a coach and as a therapist, I have a long list of strategies to teach people, but today I'd like to focus on those strategies that have the most bang for their buck, so to say. And probably the most important item is to focus on the basics. Practice good self-care. Make sure that you're well hydrated, that you're getting enough sleep and rest, that you're not too hot or too cold, that you're getting a bit of exercise, and that you're eating a fairly healthy diet. Your body, if the basics aren't being met, will amp up the survival mode instinct and everything will feel even more overwhelming than it actually is. Your physical self needs to be taken care of. And if you doubt that, just think about a child who is feeling thirsty, hot or cold, hungry and tired. What are they gonna do? Yep. You got it, right? They're going to throw out an all-out emotional temper tantrum. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do, and there's a lot of really good information online. Just Google overwhelmed, what to do. But I want to share some things with you that aren't on the online list that are really helpful for me and for many of my clients. First is recognizing that you are feeling overwhelmed. What does feeling overwhelmed feel like for you? For me, I'm not thinking straight. I feel nervous. I feel like just giving up. I feel frustrated. So identify what feeling overwhelmed feels like for you. And then when you notice these feelings, practice some self-compassion, whether that be out loud or silently, depending on where you are. And what this might sound like is, wow, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. And many people are experiencing the same thing. I'm not alone, and it's not my fault. What can I do to practice some good self-care right now, even if it's just for a few minutes? Then do it. And that's where the online lists can come in really handy. I also find that for myself and for many of my clients, being in nature, even if it's just for a few minutes, can be really helpful. Nature doesn't change that much from day to day, and there's a real sense of continuity and sameness when we spend some time outside. You know, we didn't always live indoors, and our brain understands the outdoors much more than it does the indoors. So being in nature, taking a walk in the park, or even walking where there's some trees or some greeneries in the city can be incredibly grounding and soothing. Third, remind yourself that you really only have so much time every day. I make a list in the morning of what I have to accomplish today in terms of what has to get done, and that is surprisingly less than what I usually think. Then I list what I would like to get done today but can wait until tomorrow, and I'll get to those items as soon as the I have to's for today have gotten done. And then I also have my long-term want to accomplish list, and it's always surprising to me how many things fall off of that list over time, even if I never get to them. In other words, please be realistic and maintain an honest perspective of what you can actually get done. Now, another thing I practice and many of my clients practice is the motto, if it takes less than a minute, just get it done. If it takes longer than a minute, well, then it'll probably have to wait until later to get done. But taking a minute to get the things done that are small things really can make a huge difference in my level of overwhelm. Oh my gosh, there's so much more that I'd like to talk with you about in regards to feeling overwhelmed, and maybe I'll just need to do another video on this in the near future to talk about more of that stuff. But I hope that this gives you a good starting point. So remember, trying to manage the stuff that creates overwhelm to get rid of the feeling just isn't very realistic. But practicing the psychological and and emotional approaches to feeling overwhelmed can really be well worth your time. So today, as always, from my heart to yours, I wish you ample amounts of well-being. See you next time